How's everybody doing? Welcome. Well, today we are going to do part one of the moon in Pisces. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the series. Now we have explained from Aries to Pisces the entire human spectrum, the entire human condition, the entire journey from animal to humanity, and then from humanity we become gods ourselves. So now Pisces is our Jacob's ladder, our way back to God. Or we return in the cycle of rebirth and we come back as another person. Maybe this time you'll be a man, last lifetime you were a woman. Maybe you'll be born in another country, in another race, in another culture. It's fun. Maybe you're coming back to be a healer and to be a teacher. Or maybe you're coming back to kind of pay penance and go through karma because of the life that you led in the past. Either way, we're back in the world of rebirth. The Alpha and the Omega. Pisces. The constellation of Pisces. Okay? It's stretched out into the sky like this. You have one fish on one way and you have fish on the other way. Now, back then, by the Piscean age, at the beginning of the Piscean age, you could see the entire constellation of Pisces. Now, after 2,800 years later, we only see the tail end of it. Aquarius is looming closer, and we can see him in the heaven. The dials in the heavens are changing. The dials in the heavens are changing. Remember, we're moving to the precession of the equinox. And we're moving now away from the Piscean age and entering a new era. And now the constellations above are coming closer to our view. And more, you can see the water bearer. So the water sign of the age of Aquarius, of Pisces, is leaving. But the water bearer is coming with the same goblet of water symbolized by Pisces. We see, and that same vision and beauty and serenity, we encounter people born with the moon in Pisces. Delicious. Delicious. I'm ultra happy because it's our journey back home. This incarnation, this hologram of reality, the great lie, it's almost over. Now we can return back to Papa and decide not to return or come back. It is something that always plays those born with the moon in Pisces. Okay? Understand that. So now, having said that, how do we correlate these very cosmic principles that I just dramatically explained in 2 minutes and 30 seconds? How do we translate that into the human personality and therefore the human experience? How? Because not all Pisceans are cosmic, right? You got some Piscean that you have to ask yourself, damn, is he a Pisces? That's one evil motherfucker. Or that's one crazy bitch. Come on, you all want to say it. You all know a Pisces like that or two. I know I do. But would you have it any other way? Not me. Would you? Pisces does us a great favor. It teaches us through our own. It teaches us how we are our own godhood or how we are our own evilhood. It reflects back to us that which we put out there. And even those things that we don't put out there, the moon in Pisces person can pick up and reflect upon. Right? So, having said that, there is no way that you're going to fool. Okay? The moon in Pisces man. No way. No way. Because the moon in Pisces man, the moon in Pisces women, already dreamed you coming. Already had a dream about you coming and bringing your bullshit nonsense and deception to the surface. The moon in Pisces woman already knows. The moon in Pisces woman also, let me tell you, she lives another life. Oh my God! She lives an entirely different life than the one she lives when she's awake. These dreams go on when I go outside. Remember, in the morning of the night, I dream another life. I cannot tell the whole song completely because I don't have the rights to it. And I love the singer whose name now escapes my memory. That song right there, if you know what I'm talking about, symbolizes the moon in Pisces. The moon in Pisces represents the ending. It is a balsamic cycle of the moon. Okay? It is at its 27th tincture. The moon is becoming bright. We go to that same tincture when it reopens at the new moon, which closes the eyes to the antithetical world and opens the eyes of the primary world, which we consider in occult philosophy to be demonic. Demonic, D-A-E-M-O-N-I-C-K. Demonic. Meaning that here we experience the sensations, pain and pleasures, and the cause and effect of them in this lower plane of carbon-based material matter. And this is what's meant in the occult philosophy of the upside down pentagram. The church made it evil. But that's not evil. The upside down pentagram symbolizes an opening. And depending on the evolution of that person mentally and spiritually will determine what kind of energies come out of there. We are a walking pentagram, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. And the tongue is the key. What does it say in the Bible? Life and death is determined by the power of the tongue. This is the danger. People born with the moon in Pisces understand this by instinct and intrinsically in inherent knowledge that don't even know how they know it, but they know it. I would have gulped it down because it's so good, but I'm so politically correct. Well, I would drink down the bitch. With Pisces, you gotta be happy. Here, we no longer have ego or personality. Here, we have pure, undiluted soul energy. Either you want to return because you enjoy being in the earthly world in carbon matter so much that you want to come back to it. Or you have renounced yourself to carbon matter and now you want to go home and not come back to this fold. Right? Maybe we can go to other folds. The Bible talks about that too. No. And experience life in other solar systems, in other star systems. That's so much fun. We take the goblet of water, which is symbolized by Pisces, within us. Because that's why when we're born, the water has to break. If the water doesn't break, you're not going to be born. It's the same thing. It is the same goblet. We are born in a goblet of water when we give birth. When we die, we return to that same water. And you know what you call it? The ethers. The ethers of space. And God moved across the faces of the waters. And the world was without form. And the Spirit of God moved upon the faces of the waters. What water do you think the Bible is talking about? It's talking about the waters in space. The ethers of space, from where we come from, descend. Which is why when we give birth, the water has to break. Because that's the key for us to come into this world. And that's the upside down pentagram. Satanic, demonic, meaning world. Demon means world. Demon from French. We are coming down to demon. Material matter. And that's the secret mystery behind the fall. And the people born with the moon in Pisces are extremely aware of this, even though they're not aware of it personality, ego-wise. Unless you get older and you go to the phases of life and you learn to the phases of life how life has a dial and it has a cycle. And everything repeats itself just in a different fashion. People born with the moon in Pisces know this. Okay, so having said that, we still have to get to the point where we have to describe this in essence of personality and ego in the daily mundane lives of those born with the moon in Pisces. Understand, the moon in Pisces, like Venus in Pisces, has a high level grade key of imagination. People born with the moon in Pisces know shit that very few of us know or even understand. Okay? We have no idea. No idea. And it is a mystery. Even the Piscean man or woman doesn't understand. They don't understand what's going on. They don't understand their own process. They don't understand what makes them what they are. You know? But first, before we all do that, let me tell you something, a thing or two about the security access concerning the man born with the moon in Pisces. Let me put you close by, because you know I'm about getting up any minute. And I try to avoid it. I really try to avoid it. But these archons, some of them, we need more. We need more. Give us. Hold it. You can be used as an energy source all the time. There's got to be a give and take. Because in this solar system, it's all about balance. Okay. A Pisces man gets his emotional security. Let me see. How do I put this? No. No, no. You know, I try to sugarcoat it. Damn it. Damn it. I cannot sugarcoat it. And I can't even make it nice. I can make it nice. The man with the moon in Pisces is seeks his emotional insecurity. The man with the moon in Pisces reaches emotional security by constantly feeling and knowing that deep down he's insecure. Now that's a paradox right there. Remember, in Pisces, intellect becomes highly complex here. And even as shamans and astrologers, it's difficult to put into words the psychic apparatus of the Pisces man. The Pisces woman is a different story. You know. And here I have to like kind of sit back, take the drink, fold my legs. And I'm right there with you. I'm like, we gotta figure this out. We gotta figure it out. The man with the moon in Pisces is terrified of feeling secure. Because if he allows himself to be secure in another person, he loses himself to that other person. And once that happens, like a black hole, once you get caught in the event horizons, you can't come back. And that is the inherent fear that's found with the man with the moon in Pisces. That's it right there. Got it. Thank you. That's it right there. I just have to put it in words. He won't allow himself to feel secure and safe. The problem is that the man with the moon in Pisces is not consciously aware of this. If the man with the moon in Pisces becomes intellectually or cognitively aware, psychologically aware, that he's meant not to find security in other people, I think he treat people better. What do you say about that? I think he's, listen, I got it. It's a little bit too weak, a little bit too sweet. Come down, hold on. Because I gotta give them what they want. Oh. All right. It's okay. The vodka that I use is Svedka. Highly distilled. It tastes like water, but I gotta be careful with it because you don't know you're drunk when you have too much because it's so distilled. So understand. Oh no, I drink, but I know my shit. Like, listen, the one thing about the man with the moon in Pisces, which he tends to constantly question himself and ask himself, is how can he feel emotionally secure, emotionally safe? Every person that he's with is like a clean slate. Not only does he feel it in his head, in his mind, but he also feels it in his heart. And he feels compelled to follow his instinct. It's like a fish caught in a current tide. The fish can't turn around and escape the tide. It has to go with the tide. So all the fish are following the current. That's the moon in Pisces. He can't fight it. He can't fight it. Once he's caught up in the stream and taken out to the ocean, his hat's off. When you're born a man with the moon in Pisces. Much better. So the moon in Pisces, man, is symbolic of a fish caught in a rift. And once he's in the rift, he can't fight the direction that it takes him. He is allowed to take it wherever it disperses the current to. Somewhere in the deep oceans. And every atmosphere of ocean levels has its own marine life. So too is there different levels of reality when you're born with the moon in Pisces. A sign of great beauty, like Virgo, but also of great suffering. Oh, great suffering. It is the symbol of Christ, the Christ, right? So that's one thing that we have to understand. Let me put a little more so that it is good, but I have so much to cover, and I usually don't like to repeat once I get up. So I put enough juice, and then I stay with this and part two. I don't get up again to drink anymore, and that's how you manage it. And then, of course, I have the water. But this second getting up and second interruption is very anonymous and symbolic of the moon in Pisces. There's always interruptions going on with the man with the moon in Pisces. He doesn't seem to get away and escape away from these temptations, especially when it comes to women. Oh my God. The man with the moon in Pisces is a womanizer, a whoremonger. He has a taste for women that's indescribable. If that's what he likes. If it's gay, it's men. It's the same level of desire and intensity of desire to the point where you get lost in the experience. And that's supposed to be the natural flow because Pisces represents the enmeshment, the synthesis between man and God, intellect and emotion, and all the polar opposites that exist in the world. It is the man with the moon in Pisces or the woman with the moon in Pisces that can make sense of it. But only for a moment. It escapes their vision soon as after they get it. It's deep. And we've barely scratched the surface. Because I went in. Because we have to, there's a lot to cover with Pisces. It is the ending of the cycle before the next one begins. And we can apply this on any level. Even the earth has a cycle. There is going to be a time where the earth is going to be completely destroyed and go back to being rocks in space. Yes, because that's how it started. The Alpha and the Omega. The sign of infinity, the snake biting its own tail. These are the essential mysteries that we find with Pisces, with the moon in Pisces. Okay? Okay. Getting a call here. So let me see if I can take care of it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so you must be very positive. You have to be a very, very good person. Good person. If you want to survive a relationship with a Pisces man. You have to be fucking patient. You got to be tolerant. You've got to be almost mother. You got to be Saint Barnabas, or you got to be Mother Teresa to handle a Pisces moon man. It is probably the most challenging relationship you women will ever be involved in all of your life. And you gotta be a strong bitch to handle a moon Pisces man. Because, and let me help you out here as a shaman. And I'm not your Uncle Fernando. Uncle Fernando says, that, let me tell you how you deal with ladies and a few gents with the moon in Pisces man. You have to see him as the eternal baby or the eternal adolescent. Someone who never got to suck on his mother's breast milk. Someone who never was given a pacifier. Because the moon in Pisces man can be very oral, very onanistic. When it comes to the nipples of a woman on the, vaginal areas. I mean, if it's a man, then, obvious what it is. But understand that that intense onanistic psychology, and we see this also in the Leo man and woman, the glorification of the penis. Leo is the sign of oral sex, but the one who's skillful at it is Pisces. The insatiable appetite for sex and women is unlike anything that you can experience, and it surpasses Scorpio. Scorpio's sexual energy is concentrated. The kind of sexual expression that you see in Pisces, you will never see in Scorpio. Scorpio is a little bit far more private than that. But Pisces is, here it is, take it. Like in the Roman days, it was everybody is up for grab, even animals. That's what destroyed that civilization. Is lack of morality. So those born with the moon in Pisces have to guard their sense of morality and scruples. And there have to be a sense of discrimination. You just don't have sex with just anybody. The opposite polarity is Virgo, the sign of discrimination. Who am I going to share my essence with? With everybody? Aren't I special enough to just give it to one person, like Scorpio? Or do I love myself enough to just take that for myself? Or for someone else? Or is it the lack of love for myself that I just become a whore and I let everybody grab a piece of me until I'm exhausted? And they get everything they want, and I get all the negative of the people that I pull from the sexual experience. Because sex pulls energy from other people. So if you go to bed with someone who's negative, that energy is going to be with you. Especially if that semen enters your body or your mouth or through whatever orifice it enters. These are very powerful fluids that may be chemicals, but there's a spiritual essence behind the vagina's fluids and behind the blood of a discharge with a woman. Just like with a man's semen has energy, and so does the sperm. And yes, sperm and semen are two different things, and they carry different levels of energy, which always mimic the moral fiber of the person who's carrying it, which is why women have to be careful with whom they sleep with. And men also have to be careful as well, because these energies are not to be taken lightly. And this is a truth that's learned in Scorpio, and we see its manifestation with those born with the moon in Pisces. And we have to go there. We have to go there. We have to talk about that. So, you have to understand that the Pisces man needs a woman who is upbeat and will convince him that nothing in the world is as bad as it might feel at the moment. And always. And it's a constant level of reassurance. But that's not going to guarantee that he's going to be faithful to her. That's not going to guarantee that he's going to even respect her as a person. Because this is the complexity of Pisces. And I don't even think Pisces even understands why he mistreats and abuses those that really care and love him. But he does. Kind of like Scorpio. Or the way that you know that Scorpio loves you is the intensity of the maltreatment that you receive. The worse he treats you, the more he loves you. And it's a fucked up way of loving somebody, but that and Scorpios will say it too. Yeah, we do tend to hurt the ones we love. I say it all the time. It's mysterious. We kind of see the same thing in Pisces, and we don't know which one is more ruthless, because it seems that neither of the signs really care about how the other person feels or the effect emotionally of how the other person is affected by what they do. They don't really seem to care or are quite indifferent, and they get angry. They get annoyed at you if you bitch about it. It's like you got to take the abuse and shut up. It's almost like robbing the person of their own dignity to even fight back. It's fucked up and it seems cruel. But I will describe in part 2 why that is. And we're done with segment one. Remember to donate and remember to call me for a reading 347 485 6258. Thanks, guys.